Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that's literally reshaping our world as we know it. We hear about artificial intelligence all the time, right? Usually it's just this handy productivity tool, a way to draft emails faster, or maybe generate some quirky art. But honestly, that is just the tip of the iceberg. We are looking at a massive paradigm shift. AI is moving way, way beyond simple automation and diving straight into the realm of ultimate national security and global power. Just think about it like this. Much like oil, nuclear technology, or the internet in previous eras, AI is now shaping economic influence. When we actually compare AI to things like oil or nuclear tech, we're obviously no longer just talking about software updates. We're talking about history's most critical resources, literally the very foundation of how nations wield influence and secure their borders today. So, what does it actually mean when we call AI a geopolitical asset? Well, basically, it means it's a strategically crucial national technology. Whoever controls it directly influences a country's economic resilience, its military capabilities, and its whole stance in global power competition. So governments, militaries, intelligence agencies, they aren't just casually adopting AI. They are fiercely competing to lead the pack, treating it as a literal matter of national survival. To map out this new technological arms race, we're going to explore 5 key areas today. First, the new geopolitical asset. Second, the global AI race. Third, AI on the battlefield. Fourth, intelligence and surveillance systems. And finally, strategic risks and governance. Let's get right into it. All right, starting off with Section 1, the new geopolitical asset, from automation to global power. Building AI dominance requires actual, hard resources, both physical and intellectual. You can't just wave a magic wand and wish an AI into existence. States are desperately scrambling for these strategic national assets, things like semiconductors, advanced computing power, massive cloud infrastructure, and of course, top-tier AI talent. And why does this matter to you? Because the supply chains for these exact assets are dictating the future of economic competition. The countries that manage to lock down these resources, they're going to be the ones leading the charge in finance, healthcare, manufacturing, and global logistics. Moving on to Section 2, the global AI race and the competition for technological dominance. Right now, we're seeing major world powers pouring massive investments into their national AI strategies. The US and its allies, China and Europe, they're all locked in this incredibly complex web of data flows, global supply chains for rare earth metals and chips, and just huge semiconductor infrastructures. The entire future of geopolitical competition is basically mapped out right here. It's a full-on sprint for control over digital infrastructure and raw computational power. And what's super fascinating is that these different regions have completely distinct approaches to this. The US and its allies are really leaning into innovation, technology, and leadership. China, on the other hand, is leveraging its massive scale, data, and control. Meanwhile, Europe's strategic advantage is heavily focused on regulation, ethics, and sovereignty. So nobody is playing the exact same game, but they are all absolutely playing on the same global digital chessboard. Okay, let's shift gears to Section 3, AI on the battlefield. The military domain. This is where things shift from theoretical to incredibly tangible, and quite frankly, lethal. On the modern network-centric battlefield, AI is basically acting as the central brain of the whole operation. It's seamlessly connecting autonomous air systems and drones, space and satellite intelligence, and even autonomous maritime systems. This kind of real-time data fusion creates a level of situational awareness that human operators on their own could never even dream of achieving. The specifics of how this is all being integrated are just staggering. Defense departments around the world aren't just tinkering in labs anymore. AI is actively powering real-time strike coordination and actual drone swarms. Things that used to take a team of human analysts hours to figure out are now being executed in literal milliseconds. We're talking about active use in missile defense, advanced cyber warfare operations, and electronic intelligence. This is the very foundation of a new AI arms race, where states are going all in for absolute military superiority. So why is this specific tech so absolutely critical? It all comes down to one core advantage: processing speed. Artificial intelligence can sift through enormous volumes of data way faster than any human ever could. It spots patterns, it supports decision-making in real time, and that translates to unprecedented speed, accuracy, and autonomy on the battlefield. It fundamentally changes the entire pace of war, making these military systems so much more adaptable and ultimately far more lethal. Now, let's look closer to home in Section 4, Intelligence and Surveillance Systems the domestic domain. AI isn't just changing the battlefield, it is completely transforming how intelligence is gathered domestically right in our own cities. We are seeing real-time data collection from smart city monitoring, think street cameras tracking vehicles and pedestrians, and all of that data is flowing directly into massive centralized hubs known as intelligence fusion centers. Inside these centers, secure data infrastructure is processing information at a scale that we previously thought was literally impossible. The actual tracking capabilities that power these large-scale national surveillance systems are wildly advanced. We are talking about facial recognition, multimodal biometric identification, behavioral analytics, and even predictive monitoring that can assess risks and flag alerts before things happen. Governments are essentially using these tools to track individuals, populations, and potential threats with just incredible precision. Now, as you can probably guess, this creates some profound tension. On one side of the coin, you have this undeniable, incredible capability for advanced threat detection and risk analysis, which heavily boosts domestic security. But on the flip side, integrating AI into massive national surveillance grids has sparked huge, heated debates over privacy, civil liberties, and state control. Regardless of where you personally stand on this, the objective reality is that these systems represent a massive, fundamental shift in everyday domestic power dynamics. And that brings us to our final section, Section 5, Strategic Risks and Governance, the Future Stakes.
Like the rapid, largely unregulated escalation of this technology presents some massive global risks. International governance is facing this immense, almost impossible challenge of just trying to keep pace. Experts are giving us stark warnings about the dangers here: autonomous weapons, algorithmic bias deeply embedded in decision-making, the wild spread of misinformation, rapid cyber escalation, and honestly, perhaps the most concerning one of all, the potential loss of actual human oversight in critical military and security systems.
And these risks, they bleed directly into everyday information warfare. AI is being used right now to automate vulnerability analysis to launch highly advanced cyber attacks, while at the exact same time it's generating highly realistic synthetic media, deepfakes. This dramatically ramps up the complexity of digital security. You're no longer just trying to protect physical borders anymore. You literally have to defend the very concept of truth and information within your own country. So as we wrap up, I really want to leave you with this provocative question. Who will control the infrastructure of the future? Because as we've seen throughout this whole explainer, the future geopolitical landscape isn't just about who happens to have the largest army anymore. It is increasingly going to depend on who controls the computing power, the top talent, the algorithms, and the vast amounts of data required to build these advanced AI systems. Technological superiority is the new strategic power. Understanding this digital chessboard is step one to actually understanding the 21st century. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.